In today's tutorial, let's explore on how to make Shine Like a Diamond shawl, and I'm going to be teaching you today so you can change the design to either be a scarf or even something much bigger. Let's show you how. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Today's tutorial we're going to focus on a Shine Like a Diamond shawl, and this shawl is really interesting because of the fact that it has a really unique pattern look to it. And in actual fact, once you get started, it's actually pretty simple. It's just a matter of starting off your edges right. Now you will notice that the interior, these look like dragonflies to me, absolutely amazing, and I really love the Patons Metallic, but it's using a different yarn, but of course I have to substitute because I want to make it so that it's meaningful for me. So you can substitute anything that you wish, and I actually did substitute my hook as well, and I'll talk to you about a little bit more about that. But this Patons Metallic, I really want to show you something about this yarn that really strikes me as interesting. So when I get up close to this yarn, it looks really interesting to me because of the fact that it's almost like a shoelace material, and you can really kind of see the look of it here. And you will notice that it kind of looks like wire when you look at it, but it doesn't feel like wire at all. It's actually really soft, and so it's got this really sheen look to it. It's a bit slippery, but it's not slippery that you cannot use it. It's actually really nice to work with, and it comes out of the ball like a dream. And so when you really look at it, it looks like all these wires are kind of all wrapped around each other, and it reminds me of armor or something that you would see in medieval times, and I think it's really amazing for that fact. So let me tell you a little bit more, and I'm actually making a scarf with this pattern instead of a shawl because I wanted it for my particular mannequin that I'm working with, and I'm going to be teaching you how to change the sizes. So here's the pattern today, and you can see that it calls for 4 balls of Patons lace sequin. I would agree with that. This shawl is a lot of detail in it, and it has a small crochet hook, so I would agree with that particular summation. I went to go try it with the Patons Metallic, and I never got very far, so I changed it over to a scarf. So you want to look at the yardage of what it's going to take in order to create this entire shawl. So if you're substituting, just look for that. So you can see that it has a really unique design to it. You really cannot see the fancy stitch work from the picture when it's so far away, but when it's up close you will love it. So of course for myself it comes with a stitch diagram just like you see, and I figured out what the actual stitch counts because you can see the diagram is just an example because it has a repetitive pattern to it. So I'm looking at the diagram right now, and I can see that there's a repeat pattern, and I figured out that it's in chains of 10. So if you do multiples of 10, no matter what size it is, it could be an Afghan scarf, whatever, as long as you keep it in groups of 10. So you go 10 stitches, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 on the chains, and all you just want to do at the very end is that you want to add 2 extra chains. So just continue to do in chains of 10 and then add 2 at the end of your chain. So let's begin with the slip knot. And this color that we're using on the Patons Metallic is called gold, if you're wondering about that. So let's begin. The first one never counts as 1. I'm only going to do 3 groups of 10 just for my sample today, but you can go as long as you want to. It'll still work out. So you just want to continue to this. Remember, this doesn't count as 1, so let's just chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Is it long enough? Yes or no? If not, continue again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Long enough? Yes or no? I'm gonna go one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So as soon as you get to the length that you want, please add 2 more extra chains, and this will allow you to have balance. So 1 and 2, and that's your first chain line. So on the diagram we've come all the way across, and I do leave notes on my stuff just so you're aware, but of course you can obviously print out your own that doesn't have my notes. So you have basically come across this chain, and now we're gonna come back 6 chain from the hook, single crochet, and then we're going to chain our 7, and then we're just gonna skip a whack of stitches here, and then basically we're gonna create these arches. So I went in 3 groups of 10, so therefore I should have 3 groups just like you see it on this particular diagram. Again, your sizing of your chain doesn't matter because you will still end up with the same counts, as far as there'll just be more of these arches as you go all the way across. So let's begin, and we're going to go 6 chain from the hook. So we count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I want to go 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And as soon as I get to my 6, just turn that chain over, get the back hump of the chain and just single crochet. It makes for a nicer finish if you do it that way instead. So now what we want to do, this is the small gap space that you saw in the diagram. Now we're going to do the big arching space. So that's going to be chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And simply what we want to do is come back down to the chain and we want to skip over to the 6th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And so then that's where you're going to single crochet. So you'll notice that you skipped over only 6 stitches here, but you actually chained 7. This gives you that archway that we were discussing earlier. So now we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, skipping over 2 and then go to the 3rd. Go to the 3rd chain. So we're going to begin, do 7 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and just skip over again to the 6th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So just skip over to the 6th one, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The first chain is always a pain in any project. This is where you want to get your counts right though. So now that you got your big gapping space, let's do a small one. So 1, 2, 3 and again back down on the chain, skip over 2, go to the 3rd for another single. Okay, and now we're doing a big gapping space again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, and we want to skip over to the 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, and we're almost at the end. Okay, so here's how you do the very final part right here, and basically you are going to chain 1 and then into the last chain you're going to half double crochet, and this creates that gapping space that's equal to on the other side. So just right into the final space, so therefore you have the final one like this. So this is when I turn my work, this is what I have all these like a ladder, and you can see that I have my 3 arches in the middle plus my gapping spaces on both sides as well as in the middle. So this is where we're going to begin the repeat pattern, and this is row number 2. So when you have to go back in this video, this is the starting of it. So to start we have to chain 1 first, and then what we're going to do is that we're going to single crochet into the top of the half double crochet. Okay, so we're in there, and now this is the really easiest part of the line really, and into this big gapping spaces you want to do 3 groups of 3 double crochets, and then there's chains that separate them. So let's begin. We're going to double crochet 3 times into the gap space. It's a chain 7 gap. So 1, 2 and 3. So once you get your 3, okay, there's one group of 3, chain 1. So it separates it. Do the next group of 3. So 1, 2 and 3. Once you get that done, then chain 1 and then again back in. So this is your final group of 3. So 1, 2 and 3. You will notice further on in the project what happens is that you're gonna be playing into the middle group of the 3. So there's 3 groups right now. We're gonna be playing into the middle one when we come back in the future. So let's continue. So we got our 3 in. This gapping space that's next, it's just a single crochet right into the space itself, and then we begin to do exactly the 3 groups of 3 again. So we just go into the next chain 7 gap and just going to chain, or sorry, double crochet 3 times. 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1, do the next group. Okay, this is the middle group of the 3. 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 1 and then do the final group of 3. So 1, 2 and 3. Perfect. So once you get that done, again you go to the next gapping space. It's the chain it's the chain 3 gap, and basically you just single crochet right into it and then continue to the next big one. So that's an easy line, right? and you do that all the way across no matter what size your project is. So you just keep repeating that pattern. So there's my first group of 3, I chain 1, and then here's my second group of 3, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and then my final group of 3. So we're coming up to the very end of your line, so yours might be further on in this. Just keep on doing what I just showed you, and what we want to do in the very end of the line is that you just simply just want to go into this chain space right here for a single crochet. Okay, so here's what it looks like right now. You have your arches going up, just like, see, you can almost see that the groups of 3 are there if you're really looking for it. Probably somebody that doesn't crochet would never see it, but that's what you have at this point. Let's move on to row number 3. So let's turn our work and begin row number 3. Row number 3 again is a very easy line as well. They're all easy. It's just a matter of where you start on this project. What happens is that the edges change as the repetitive pattern goes, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later. So right now you're on the edge, and simply to start this row you have to chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So why is there chaining 9? Well, this piece right here is going to eventually turn in the middle of it and then be part of the next be part of it. So it's just a way of making sure that you can have the pattern be consistent, and you'll see a little bit more about that later too. So to do this one here, we're going to look for the middle group of the 3 and just simply single crochet into each one of the ones in the middle, and there's only 3. So 1, 2 and 3. And let me see now that I have that in. So basically this chain 9 gap is going to look like this. Okay, it's just not obvious at this point. So this is a really easy line. So every time you're in the valleys, so in between the arches, this is what you do. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're going to treble down into the middle single crochet that is in the middle. So this was the single crochet that was in the middle of this gap, so it's right there. So we want to wrap our hook twice and then going into that single crochet, and we're just doing a treble, and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Go to the next arch and go to the middle one of the 3 and just single crochet into the top of each of the 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and then we come back down, so we're gonna treble into the middle single crochet. So we have to wrap our hook twice for the treble, and then 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then again we're looking for the middle one of this arch. So yours may be much wider, but this is the repetitive pattern as you can see, and it's gonna do this all the way across. So at the very end of this row, which is coming up for me, this is what you're going to do. And again, this is very simple. You're just going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you're going to treble down into this, right into the end stitch. So you're gonna wrap twice and you're going to treble, and that makes sense because you were trebling in the middles of the arches. So this is what it would look like at this point. Let's start on row number 4. We're gonna turn our work, and we want to start off by chaining 1. So chain 1, and we want to single crochet into the top of the treble. And again, this row is actually really easy as well. So we're going to start off and we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're going to put 2 double crochets into the middle one of the 3. Okay, you have the 3 here, put 2 double crochets into the middle. Very good. Once you get that done, you chain 4 again. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here's where the game plan changes. This is what makes it look like a dragonfly. So you've chained your 4, you're going to single crochet into the top of this treble here. You can see where it meets. So just single crochet, and now you're going to do a picot. So what you're going to do is just chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and just coming down into the beginning, you just want to slip your hook in behind the stitches of the single crochet, and to just slip stitch everything through, and it creates like a knob or a bump, and that's what that is. And then you're going to single crochet back into that same space. Okay, so it creates this little raised bump. So let's, I'm gonna show that again, but let's continue along. We're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you're on the tops of the arches, you are going to put 2 double crochets into the middle one of the 3, and then you're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here's another one that's just like this other one. You can see the dragonflies almost appearing, and it's like you single crochet into the top of the treble and then chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then just sliding your hook down into that single crochet just like so, pull it through and through like a slip stitch, and then just single crochet back into the top of that treble to finish it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then just double crochet into the twice into the top of the middle one of the arch. Okay, and then this is where it gets fun. On the very end here you have this big chain, and we're going to chain 4 first. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And essentially what we have to do at this point is that we have to just align it. So we're gonna go to the 4th one of the hook, or the 5th one. So just count over. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go to the 5th chain, and that's where you're going to single crochet. Okay, so you can see how it did it like that. So this is what it looks like at this point. You got your dragonflies appearing on the tops, and let's begin the next part. So at this part of the pattern, what we have here is that we're gonna start row number 5, and row number 5 is basically the foundation of the arches that we did down here. Do you notice what's happening though? The arch is shifting over. Okay, so it's no longer 3 just sitting on top of each other. There's a half here, there's one here, and a half here. So on this particular part of the repeat, then what happens is that the arches will shift over, and basically the way that we start is basically creating the foundation to make that work. So where I left you was at the very end. Let's turn our work and begin the next part. So the next part again is really simply, we're just going to just chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And what we're going to do is that we're gonna come into the gapping space on this side of the actual, see the double crochets? We're coming on this side, and we're just going to single crochet in around the space. And this is just like we were working in the middle section over here, and we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip over the double crochets, and then just single crochet into the chain space on the other side of those double crochets. So this is the middle, what appears to dragonfly. So we're just going to chain 7. So that we're gonna do this each and every time we hit one of these dragonflies when we're in this position of our project. So we're gonna chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to come on to the other side. So just skip over the head of the dragonfly, and then just come on the other side and single crochet. And now we can see that the double crochets are next. So what are you gonna do? Chain 3. 1, 2, 3, come on the other side of those for a single crochet. Here's another dragonfly, so that means we're gonna chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Come on the other side of the dragonfly, and we have 2 double crochets in a row. We are getting close to the edge, but we still have to maintain that. So 1, 2, and 3. Come on the other side. So what's gonna happen on this side is different. Okay, it's gonna be chaining a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're just gonna double crochet ourselves into this single crochet right here to keep it in balance. So on the very first part, what's happened is that we chain 7, which includes, that's your double crochet plus your chaining of 4. So on this side, because we're finishing it and we want to stay up on the top, is that we chain 4 and then double crochet, so we can be in the right balance. So this is what it looks like at this point. So let's turn our work one more time, and this is row number 6. And row number 6, again a very easy row just like the rest of them. So we're gonna start off by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. The rules of crochet, that counts as a double crochet, just so that you're aware. So we're gonna double crochet one time into this same gapping space that you're at. So you came out of the stitch here, you chain 3, you're going right into the space. We're gonna do a half arch. So this is 2 double crochets together, and then you're gonna chain 1 and then double crochet 3 more times. So this is a half arch. Okay, so now that you have that done, so in the middle spaces, these are the small chain 3 spaces, again single crochet, and this is exactly what we were doing down here. Whenever we were doing the big arch, we got into the middle, we just single crocheted right over. So here's your big gap space next, and that is gonna be 3 groups of 3 double crochets with chains in the middle of them. Okay, so we got 3, this is 2, 3, and then chain 1 and do the next group of 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 1 and then the next group of 3. Like so. So now you have your 3 groups of 3 in there, so you just come into the next chain 3 gap and just single crochet right into the gap itself, and then we're gonna carry on. So we're gonna go to the next gap space here, and what is it gonna be? It's 3 groups of 3 double crochets with chains that separate them. So that was 1, we have 2, we have 3, chain 1, do the next one, so 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 to do the next one, so this is the final group of 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and then again here's another chain 3 gap, so you go in there first, and now we are on the outside. Okay, so this one is gonna be a half arch like we did over here when we started. So to do this one, we're gonna do 1 group of 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, you're gonna do 1 double crochet only, and then this time you want to go into the 3rd chain up. Okay, so count 1, 2 and 3, and then that's where you're gonna double crochet, and you're gonna go right into the chain itself. The reason why you're gonna do that is that it prevents this whole thing from slipping and sliding, so that it's stabilized at the end. So this is what this row looks like at this point. So you can see that the actual arches have shifted over, so you have halves on both sides and 1 in the middle, and you can see the beautiful diamond formation has now happened in the middle. Let's turn our work and go to row number 7. Row number 7 is just like we did with coming down and doing these trebles. The only difference is in how we start. So because we're now on a half treble here, this is how we begin this one. So we're gonna chain 1 first, and we're gonna double crochet into the first 2 double crochets that are here. So to explain that better is that you remember how we were in the middle and we did these 3 double crochet or single crochets right in the middle. Because you have 2 here and then there's a chain 1, is that we're filling that in, so that's why it's a half. So now what we're going to do is chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then coming down to the single crochet like you did before in the middle and between the 2 of the arches. Okay, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you already know how to do this, so you go to the group of 3 in the middle and get each one of the single crochets, and there's a total of 3 of them, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you're going to go to the middle one here for a treble, so wrap the hook twice and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, coming to the middle one of the next arch, single crochet in each one of the 3, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, wrap twice, coming into the middle. Let me try that again. You will get to know this stitch really easily, carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4 once you get playing with it. Now you're on the very edge now, and you'll notice that you have your 3 groups of 3. You have this 2 here because it's a half an arch. You're only gonna go into the final 2 double crochets for a single crochet each and each, just like so. So this is what it looks like so far. So you have a configuration done here, and you have almost another half one almost completed at this point. So let's turn our work and go to row number 8, and row number 8 is the final before we start doing the repeat, or sorry, row number 8 and 9 are the finals before we start doing a repeat pattern back at number 2. So to start this one here, we want to chain up 3, so 1, 2 and 3. The reason why we're chaining up 3 to explain this, do you see how there was 2 double crochets on the top of the arches? Well, this is a half arch, so therefore we need it there because we're doing the repeat pattern. So we did 1 and we're going to double crochet into the same stitch like so. Okay, so hopefully you can see that it's basically just shifted over, and that's the whole secret to this particular project. So let's chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're gonna come into the middle. So the top of the treble we're going to single crochet, and then we're going to do a picot. So let me just, that was a single crochet, let me do a picot. So it's 1, 2 and 3, coming into the top of the side of the single crochet stitch, pulling it through and through to form that bump, and then we single crochet back into that same stitch, and then we chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this time what we want to do is that in the middle one here we just put in 2 double crochets. So we already know how to do this. So again, it's all how you start the line is what makes the difference of this pattern. That's why the repeat is so big as far as the number of rows. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, we're back in the center here. So for a single crochet, chain 3 for a picot, coming back into the single crochet to form that picot, and then single crochet back into that same double or treble, and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and we're in the middle of the arch, so it's gonna be 2 double crochets into the middle one, and then 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, oh, we're in the top of the treble, so that means it's a single crochet, chaining of 3, do your picot, and single crochet back in. So then the finishing of this line then is 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're gonna do 2 double crochets right into the final stitch of this last row. So you can see that you started off by chaining 3 and then double crocheted into the same one, and then therefore you can see that the pattern, and you can really start seeing this pattern materialize at this point. So let's move on to row number 10, which is the final row before the repeat. So let's turn our work, and this is row number 9, which is the final. And so row number 9, all we're just going to do to start is chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and single crochet into this gapping space right here, the first one that you run into, and then look, this is your dragonfly. So what did we do before to get from one side of the dragonfly to the other? We chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, coming down to the other side of the dragonfly. Now that's not a technical name for a stitch, that's just me just giving you an analogy. So 1, 2, 3, coming onto the other side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, coming on the other side of the dragonfly. 1, 2, 3, the other side of the double crochets, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, come into the other side of the dragonfly. And how we finish off this one once you get to the very end, just like you see here, is that we go basically it's just really easy at this point. We're just going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a half double crochet into the final stitch to form that last gapping. So when we did their chaining 4, we created a small little gap on this side right there. So this side, by doing the chaining 1 and half double crochet, we're doing the same. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm gonna start you on this next row, which is the repeat of what I've already shown you down here, but you can see that this archway now becomes the new one right up here. So you can see that the pattern is repeating. So let's turn our work, and this is the next row up, and the pattern is repeating. So this is the same one row that we did down here. So you can see it's now ready, and it will sit on top and be on a line. So basically you have one arch here, the next one is over, and then this one is back up to where it was before. So to begin this particular one, we have to chain 1 and then single crochet right into the top of the double crochet that you did. And then we just look, this is the next big chain 7 gap. So what are we gonna do? That's right, 3 groups of 3 with chains in between them. So this is 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and then 1, 2, and 3. Okay, once you have that third one in, I want to go into the middle space here. It's a chain 3 gap and just single crochet. So you already know how to do this. So this is a relatively easy pattern. It's just a matter of starting off the edging right, because the repeat pattern is so many rows. But once you understand that, it becomes pretty easy to follow. And I found that it's not too bad as far as doing this pattern at all. But I did have to keep my pattern close to me, because I did like to look at the crochet diagram after each row to make sure that I was on track. So I'm just doing my archways as normal, so 3 double crochets with chains in between them, and then here's the next gap space, single, and then back to the next big one. I've never worked with the gold color of metallic before. I've always done the silver or another color. Actually I really like it. Kind of regretting that I didn't do my my scarf in this. I think that's actually quite pretty. So here we go, and we've got my 3 groups of 3, and then once we're at the very end, then basically you are going to be on the top of the half double crochet with the single crochet, and you can see the repeat pattern is basically just restarted all over again. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of Yarnspirations as well as the crochetcrowd.com. Join me next time for more fruit patterns and ideas. Until then, we'll see ya.